Alright, welcome back. This is the second in the series of the Scarborough Rescue Service collection tests, and this video I'm going to have a look at this SAH-60 Luun Light Training Helicopter from the collection. So they've done these fantastic renders here, great presentation. As you can see, so this is from Jan. This is a light training helicopter. I think the concept here is that it prepares you for some of the systems of the more complex helicopters. So it's a turbine helicopter, and it has some of the systems that basically you'll get in the larger helicopters. It's a wheeled helicopter. It's a little bit bigger than the Brizo, the one we looked at, a little bit more powerful. So as you can see here, the startup procedure is a little bit more complicated. I'm not going to follow this to T, but yeah, let's get in and give it a shot. So quick look around it in the editor. Yeah, so it's a bit larger, it's wheeled, that's the main difference, and as far as I remember, it's a proper turbine helicopter. So instead of having modular internal combustion engines, it's got turbine. Looks like it is mounted vertically here. This looks like a turbine. I haven't built turbines myself, but you can see there that Stormworks, even though it's a sort of voxel builder, you are doing pretty complex stuff to make all this transmission connect up, and there's a whole bunch of logic which is needed to make these things fly. So it's totally amazing what these guys are doing. So let's spawn her in. Again, this is, oh, I don't know why she's come in so far away. This channel is really about flight testing some things which I've kind of pre-selected as being realistic, good to use, you know, in multiplayer, these kind of things, all these kind of things that you want in terms of playability. So from the outside, again, it's got the SRS livery on, looks great. It's got formation lights, bigger winch. Not too much to say about the outside. A good looking helicopter. We'll jump in the pilot side and we'll run through startup. So the door, again, usually these door switches are hidden. So the startup procedure, let's see, it was in here. Batteries on, avionics on, ADIRS, which is stabilization. It's really important that. Fuel valve, parking brake, lights. Okay, I'm not going to do this exactly, but I know that the concept that these guys have come up with is generally starting on the roof panel and working from back to front. We will try and do this properly, so let's do batteries at least on. Sorry, that's a different switch. Battery 1, battery 2, generators on, engine on. Usually would turn the fuel valves on. Anti-ice is along that side, fuel pump. These are lights now. It's just one engine, so you just have that one row really to do there. Avionics on, ADIRS. Again, that whole row of toggle buttons over there is anti-ice, as you can see. And then generally you'll have lights on this side. If it's a twin engine, you'll have more to do there. Now, I did forget this important one, which is rotor lock. Now, it's usually a turnable key. There you go. So you need to turn that off, and only then will your engine start. The turbine ones, they all start. I've obviously forgotten fuel. There we go. So you can hear the boom. That's the turbine basically firing up, igniting. Yeah, one other difference is, so they've got the rotor brake, you've got fuel valves to do compared to that more simple one I reviewed before. And then once your engine is running, you switch this one, where is it? It's in slightly different places in every helicopter, from idle to flight mode. And basically this will just increase your rotor RPM up to flyable rotor RPM. Some of the more complex ones do have different modes for the rotor speed, where you can have a lifting mode or just a cruise mode, and it'll give you a little bit more power. This one not. Again, it's got some of the systems that the more complex ones have. It has these electronic displays and some traditional steampunk kind of gauges. So we can see here everything is settled, 600, 3000 RPM. Wow. Again, you know, it's not a flight simulator like DCS. This is just all simulated to make it a fun, flyable, semi-complex experience, which is what Stormworks is all about. So the other difference here, as far as I remember, is parking brakes. You've got wheels. I need to be careful because I'm pretty close to the left-hand side here. So I am going to push forward on my W key. I'm going to try and turn away and just tap my up on my collective so that I get a bit of angle of attack, so the blades are cutting there a little bit. You can see here she starts rolling, and I'm just going to keep her taxiing out at that slow speed here. If I tap more on the collective, so she's lifting more, we'll start to take off slightly. So the physics in here are pretty good. You can see it actually bumps across this rail for the door. She's got suspension. She's got a nice learner pilot friendly suspension at the back there, pretty big wheels, but you'll see that that comes in handy when you're learning. So you can see there actually the cyclic moved forward, which is that effectively that disc of the blades on top, and I've let go of my key there, so she'll go into hover mode. So I think everything's good here. Engine is on, got no red lights. So again, yeah, just tapping up on the cursor, you can see the suspension unloads. She goes up, and like the other helicopters, she'll move around a bit just as you come off the ground. You can correct manually, and all of these helicopters do go into an auto hover mode. I'm not too sure if there's any way that I can get it to activate a bit quicker, but if you just let go, they will hover. I'd love it to kind of lock more quickly into that, but that's just the way they are. So we'll do a speed test. We'll go to our station keeping point, and then we'll see if we can winch ourselves up and down. So I'm inside. I'm going to get some altitude, get up to about 150 feet. And I'm holding down forward so we can see what maximum speed is. So you can see there's our speed, 84, 85, 86. Remember to close the door this time. Probably have some kind of lights on, beacon at the very least. Yeah, so 150 knots, 152, 153. Yeah, stabilized there. So she's about 20 odd knots faster than the little Brizzo. Lovely to fly around. And now we're just going to turn around, come back to that little tiny mini peak, and we'll do our station keeping. So again, this helicopter seems pretty optimized. I'm running a 3080 Ti here with a fairly good CPU. So it runs nice, and I've not had any problem with these. The real test comes when you do multiplayer and you've got a few more people using multiple vehicles, and the physics is really where Stormworks struggles. If you ever want to do multiplayers, try to bring in low physics or low complexity physics. Bolts seem to be the worst. Right, so we'll bring her over here where we can see her shadow. Hands off controls just now, so it takes her a while to hover to get into stable mode. Okay, so now this is a station keeping test, so basically what I do is I put the wind up to 50, then 75, and see how well she keeps station. So 50 is no problem for any of the helicopters I've been in so far. The smaller one could only handle 65. 76 again. Not quite. I think she's still moving off station there. Let's try 70. Yeah, so she could do 70. So she's a little bit more powerful than the Brizzo, the previous one I tested. She'll station keep on 70 knots. And then just for fun, I'll jump out on the winch. So one of the things about this one, of course, is I've got control over spotlights, cabin brightness as well, and both the underside winch and the side winch. So you can go and operate that winch from inside. And again, you know, a lot of people play this single player, so they kind of do this thing, they jump to the sides. I'm missing something here. Oh yeah. So how do we open the door? Okay, it's a hidden button. Ooh, now this is going to be tricky. Must be right. I haven't tested this, so there's no rear door. Oh, there is a rear door. Right. So persevere. If at first you can't find the switch, just have a look on the outside. So there we go. We've got a rear door. It's very small, but I can get into the harness and I can lower myself down. So, yeah, say what you want about the physics. The fact is you can do this kind of cool stuff in this game. There's not many other games you can do this. You can jump out, pick up somebody, and then winch back up. So it's past this part of the winch test. The more tricky part is kind of get back into the helicopter. There you come. I'm just going to slow down here because sometimes catches on some of the other objects in the way there. But the first person mode, and as I said, usually you're trying to grab onto a grab handle somewhere. I can't see one here. So I may be screwed. I don't see a grab handle, so it's not going to be easy for me to get back into this. Can I grab anything underneath here? There was something there. Grab point, I just saw it. Right. Where am I grabbing onto now? I've grabbed onto something which is underneath. Okay. Now, can I get myself back in? Got my finger ready on the F key. Alright. This is going to be real tricky. Right, I think it's going to be possible to get into the pilot seat, but as you can see, it's hard there. Right, so I got into the pilot seat. Not the easiest one to use there. Let's see if I can close this door. Okay. Right, whew. That's given me a real adrenaline rush. So let's take that wind down and keep it nice and quiet. We'll bring it back down. So yeah, difficult for single player use, I would say, because of that lack of a grab handle. It's just, yeah, I mean, this is not very realistic to use a helicopter by yourself. You'd normally have somebody out the back, but even if you've got a pilot and you've got a winch person, that winch person still needs to get in, and it's a bit tricky on this one, but it's always good to have a bit of jeopardy like that. So there we go, bring her down to that big soft suspension, and then we'll put the brake on. Yeah, so you can refuel. I think I'm just looking for the slot outside here. Let's just get out and have a look, and I'll shut it down if I can find that quickly. Yep, that's the quickest way. Just put that brake on. Just looking for the door here. Right, quick look on the outside for refueling. Did see a door here. Yeah, so this has got a refueling door here, even with a little light, so you can charge the battery, you can refuel the tank there, so that you can see the fuel level. And that's really nice, easy to use refueling there. So yeah, that's it. That's the Luun. That's the trainer. We had a little bit of fun trying to get back in. If anybody knows a better trick, let me know. Some helicopters you can just grab onto these grab handles and kind of turn, and if you crouch, you'll get into the inside of the helicopter, where you can just press E to let go of the grab. I didn't try that, but these small doors here made that a bit tricky. But otherwise, great training helicopter. Use it to learn how to fly. Don't use it to learn how to do winch operations by yourself, is my recommendation. But a great part of the collection. That's all from me. Cheers for now.